Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector on Company Captain difficulty. This is the hardest difficulty setting in the game, and I suspect since we finally got caught up with the Tyrant of Baal that this is going to be the last mission. So let's see if my suspicion is correct.
The Xenos infest these halls like a plague of rats. You cannot walk without crushing the skulls of their dead beneath your feet. This Hive Tyrant is the foundation of the Xenos resistance on Balfora. It is responsible for the coordinated attacks, for the precision strikes, for the uncanny formations. We have to sever the head. Without it, the body will fragment and fall to anyone with a bolter. I remember and count every death that has brought us here. The sacrifices of my brothers will not be in vain. This infection will be purged. The tyrant dies today.
In a swarm of predators, the Hive Tyrant is the apex of the Tyrannid host. It acts as a direct conduit of the Hive Mind's will, and its presence smothers the feral behaviors of the lesser bioforms surrounding it. Without the Hive Tyrant, the Tyrannid presence on Bal Secundus will splinter and break into small and smaller clusters, at which point the swarm will be susceptible to complete eradication. You know what? I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. Since this is the last mission, let's transfer you to reserves. Transfer to reserves. Transfer to reserves. Transfer to reserves. Let's transfer you into army. And then how much does your Thunderhammer cost? Almost 100, really? Do I really want to do this? The reason I'm thinking about just bringing out a high tier army is I assume they're gonna just bombard me with I think they're just gonna bombard me with like the specials, because that's one of the things that's really hard about this game with infantry, is if they just drop a bunch of spore mines on you, they just absolutely decimate your force and can kill it like nobody's business. Yeah, that puts you over by 30. Alright, let's transfer you to reserves. We'll get one of you to have a heavy plasma incinerator. And the other one could be normal. Let's try this. I want to see what these tanks can do, because I think they're actually going to be really good.
The Xenos infest these.
A little sad I won't be able to see what the Thunderhammer includes, but too expensive. 100 points. That's over a whole squad of units. Well, that was kind of anticlimactic. Alright, so we got an exocrine over here. Actually, what I could probably do is just charge in with this guy. And between those two, you'll probably be able to kill them. Got an Alpha Prime over here. So we're going to be a little cautious with that. Maybe do something like this.
Crushed!
Alright, couldn't kill him,
We can
unfortunately.
handle it.
When the day is darkest, we prevail through control.
The blood is strong! Do not falter! Fear not the fury of the great angel brothers! It is your right!
Fear me, for I am doom.
The blood of Sanguinius flows in my veins.
On Balfora I was born, and should the Emperor will it, on Balfora I will die. Fear not the fury of the great angel brothers! It is your right! On my honor.
My power is yours to command.
There can only be victory.
For the Imperium! Plasma coils fully overcharged.
Alright, decent.
The blood is strong! Do not falter!
We can handle it.
The Omnisire will judge your acts. Trust in your armor to turn their blades.
Firing on the enemy.
The road of righteousness is soaked in the blood of the unworthy. Purge the unclean!
My powers await your command. A wise course of action.
The Emperor's light burns bright.
My vigilance is eternal.
The blood waits.
For the Imperium! Got it. Firing on the enemy.
Bring me your broken and your outworn, and I will repair them anew.
Kill zone set. Heavy armor, awaiting your orders. On the move. Landspeeder crew awaiting orders. Not even death will stop me. Let them come.
What needs fixing? On my way.
Mr. Tech Marine.
Trust in your armor to turn their blades.
Alright, what you gonna do?
We've been intercepted. They test our armor. We are taking fire. We are taking fire.
The enemy waits for us.
I must resist.
fire!
The enemy lurks in the shadows.
Alright, well, we got quite the situation going here. Let's move you back here.
Clarity through bloodshed.
My faith is strong. Hatred for the sinner!
Opening fire.
Okay, good.
Affirmative.
The blood of Sanguinius flows in my veins.
Fire support.
The blood of Sanguinius flows in my veins. My duty is service. My chainsword thirsts for their blood.
I have seen your death by my hands.
Let's see how well that armor protects you.
Only in death will my duty be completed.
Got it.
Their death is our
Alright,
only
you run over
option.
here, I guess.
I am the Imperium's shield.
Nice, you missed. Excellent.
There can only be victory.
With speed. We can handle it. Anti-grav ready.
What is your plan?
We are just and righteous before the eyes of the Emperor!
My duty remains. Confirmed.
Order confirmed. Yet to meet a Xenos my axe couldn't bisect. Fire support. We'll have you back up in no time.
Plasma fire support ready.
Alright, poor tank.
Taking fire! Ah! Ah! Ah!
Jesus.
Targets moving beyond range.
Now I got
Is that all?
Prime moving in on me here.
Impedance acknowledged.
And he's got that acid.
Taking fire.
Yikes.
My fury will be fast.
Alright, you get over here.
You will need more than that.
Frick. That was rough.
Strategically sound. Clarity through bloodshed.
Whatever the angel requires.
That's too slow.
Of course.
My powers await your command. Fire support.
Alright, the Prime is over here.
The blood of Sanguinius flows in my veins.
I have seen your death by my hands. I have seen your death by my hands. My power is yours to command. Past, future, there is only service to the Emperor. Firing on the enemy. Landspeeder crew awaiting orders. With speed.
I don't care, I need this guy to die. Thank you. Very worth it.
My duty is service.
We'll have you back up in no time. Yet to meet a Xenos my axe couldn't bisect. Trust in your armor to turn their blades. The Omnisire will judge your acts.
Aye. Firing.
When the day is darkest, we prevail through control.
The Emperor's light burns bright. I will not fail.
Plasma fire support ready.
Bring me your broken and your outworn, and I will repair them anew. Tech Marine, standing by.
Of Catherine and Celestine, of Sesti and Praxedes.
The sanguinary priesthood serves the will of the chapter.
The road of righteousness is soaked in the blood of the unworthy.
Run away.
I will not fail.
My duty is service.
In every shadow I find heresy.
We are the defenders of Baal. I.
What needs fixing?
Hellblasters awaiting target. Fire support.
This is tough because I want to take out those hive guards, but I also don't want you guys to get killed.
We can handle it.
Oh,
Receiving fire. Resistance detected.
shoot. Alright, he's gonna be down for the count. Or not. Fascinating. Take it. Good.
Receiving fire.
I can hear them skittering around out there.
Oof.
For the Imperium. What is your plan? The librarian can assist you in this matter if it must. Order confirmed.
Feel like you need to run away.
I go where I am needed. When the day is darkest, we prevail through control.
Understood. Tech Marine, standing by.
Moving.
On my way. As you say.
Ranged plasma on your request.
The sanguinary priesthood serves the will of the chapter. Seek glory in
Kill
the
him, I
angel's
guess.
name!
Anti-grav ready. Moving into position. On the move. Got it.
Of course.
They cannot stop me.
Alright.
My power is yours to command. Landspeeder crew awaiting orders. What is your plan?
I am the Imperium's shield.
There can only be victory.
Plasma fire support ready.
Yikes.
Only in death will my duty be completed.
Understood.
Taking hit.
That's fine. I don't care about that. Oh, big hit.
Taking fire!
Another big hit.
Taking fire! Ah!
Oh man. I am definitely on the ropes here.
Fire support.
When the day is darkest, we prevail through control.
Okay, good.
Firing on the
No!
target.
I did not want you to do that. I needed you to kill these guys.
The sanguinary priesthood serves the will of the chapter. My chainsword thirsts for their blood.
is yours to command. The defense at Angelicum stands with you.
I am ready to help.
We are the defenders of Baal. Clarity through bloodshed.
Alright, librarian, survive. Alright, good.
Clarity through bloodshed.
Nice. Didn't even have to clean them up, just had to finish them up. That was close, man. I was on the ropes for there, on that mission for sure. I don't know if having all these high value units at the last mission actually worked out in my favor or not, because I didn't have the boost and they had so many high damage dealing units with those hive guards that could have really messed me up pretty severely. But the good news is I don't think I lost any units that were in my army. I mean, minus the not blood sisters, the sisters of battle, and then when I spawned those assault marines, because I didn't know how the bonus worked. But otherwise, I didn't lose any units in my army, so that's pretty cool. Because usually with these kind of games, that's not really feasible. Oh, and then the death company, obviously, but the objective there was to get them killed, so I feel like that's to be excused. So I guess it's actually like a no-death run.
Have care, brothers. The core of their network is dead. Call your blood. Savor this victory.
I have to attend the Dreadnought. Inkaria will have my liver if we lose the machine spirit down here.
Go, brother. Tend to his body. Brother Quindar's sacrifice should be venerated and recounted with pride within our chapter.
I expect I will get to walk away just as easily, Lieutenant. Even after all that I have witnessed.
You understand nothing of what you saw.
At ease, brother. Sister Verity has a right to question. We wrestle with our curse every day. It is a testament to the sister's strength that she did not turn on us when faced with our chapter's darkest shadow.
Answer me truthfully, Carlion. Did you know the Psycho was falling when you brought us here? Were it not for the tyrant's talons, he may have jeopardized us all. Did you know? When I talk with Canoness Martilia, I will have to confess all to her. She will learn of your rogue librarian and the knife's edge you made us
I trust you will
walk.
tell her everything you need to, sister. The Emperor already judges our every decision. Should he find mine wanting, my life is his to spend. With time, the contradictions fade. Balfora continues to turn. Her people will slowly come back and begin to rebuild their lives. I am no longer needed here. My ghosts are at rest. There is already new work for us. The Primaris have proved the strength of their blood. Dante is eager to use them to cleanse the Red Scar. Baal is but one of thousands that we will wrest back from Leviathan. Our sword arms may tire, but our spirits cannot, so long as enemies of the Imperium remain. For we are the angels of death, and we are always prepared for war.
Alright, well that's Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector. Didn't really see much for DLC. I mean, maybe some of the Marine units were extras, but I thought I got DLC with, is it Necrons? So we'll see if there's a Necron campaign as well, or if it's just like extra units to be used. I don't know if there's much of a multiplayer scene with this game, but overall it's not a bad, definitely not a bad game. I think in retrospect I would have done things differently had I understood the mechanics of the game. So the requisition points are separate from the medallions you get for completing the objectives. The medallions are used to upgrade your units. I definitely recommend getting the auto bolt gun and then giving your unit health upgrades. On the hardest difficulty, the weapon upgrades are significantly expensive, so it really limits what you're able to use, which is unfortunate because I think it would be kind of fun to use some of the better weapons for the units. So I mean, I understand losing points to be able to make the game challenging because you can't have the best equipment, but at the same time it kind of hampers you to be able to get to see and play around with all the different mechanics and weapons of the game. Because one of the things with solo campaigns is, you get to play, you get to see what the units are. Each turn you get a new unit, so you kind of learn how they're supposed to be used and how not to use them. And then with it being the hardest difficulty like this, set up this way, it prevents you from doing that. It's very interesting that it seemed like the game was harder early on when you didn't have the best units and they were inexperienced and you had these unlimited swarms of Tyranids. You definitely felt like you're at the breaking point, whereas the later game it seemed to get easier as the game progressed until there'd be certain missions where it'd just be very difficult, like, rescuing the sisters, and that's not so much because the mission itself was hard, it was because you couldn't get to the sisters in time, and they get themselves killed, so that could be very frustrating. I would have gotten some more better units early on had I understood how the elite mechanics worked. Definitely, I think using the sanguinary guards early on would have been a huge easy button because they can jump around, they do a ton of damage, they have decent armor. So that would have made the beginning of the game much, much easier. The dreadnoughts are incredibly powerful. I would strongly recommend getting at least 2 or 3 of them, and then using the Feroso pattern and then getting them the Flamers, because that was amazing for clearing out the low tier infantry, and that would have been hugely beneficial on several missions early on in the campaign had I understood how that worked. Momentum is another thing to understand how it works. You definitely want to be able to use up all your AP. It's kind of annoying that Overwatch destroys your AP, whereas if you just run around, that doesn't seem to cause as much momentum loss. So there's a little mechanics that were a little better there. Likewise, if your units are behind cover and they're shooting, it actually decreases their accuracy, so it'll shoot the cover that they're hiding behind. So that's really stupid the way they do it. Cover should be for returning fire, not outgoing fire, unless you're shooting over more obstacles like with other things. So I thought that was a little bit sloppy. The AI also felt pretty cringe-worthy on this game too, because they would focus fire on anti-infantry units and they just start attacking all of your vehicles, because it seems to have a focus on what's the highest point value that they can kill. It was very interesting that the melee was very powerful in this game. I was kind of happy to see that, because most of the times in these Warhammer 40,000 games, the melee just isn't given the respect it deserves. So I'm glad to see that they ended up focusing on that and making it just absolutely devastating. It was kind of interesting that throughout the whole game, really, the Hormagaunts were some of the most dangerous units. I wish the the Hive Guard units would have been shown a lot earlier in the game, not just on the last mission, because for the most part the AI definitely had trouble dealing with vehicles, and if you wanted to just kind of cheese this game, you would just bypass infantry and go heavy go aggressors for their heavy armor early on and then exchange them all out for vehicles, because once you get them kitted out, they're just incredible. It was a little sad that I lost the guy to the Black Rage. What was his name? Start with the Q. I've already forgot. Quinton or something like that. Quindar, I think. Because he had all of our experience, and then when I tried to replace him with a different Librarian Dreadnought later on in the game, it was not nearly as powerful, and he didn't have all those benefits. I also wish that they were able to exchange their claw to be switched to the Flamer or some different weapon, because it just seemed like they had this great melee but weak range, and the Ferosa pattern lets you get really powerful abilities with the range with the Flamers. Now, the thing that also frustrated me about the Librarians is they would get attacked, and instead of counterattacking with their powerful Force Glaive, they would attack with the Claw and do 50 damages out of the 100, so I wish that was different. What else can I say? Really, getting the Tech Priest going and the Sanguinary Priest to get your heals going. Definitely want a couple Sanguinary Priests to heal up your units. The Hellfire unit, Hellfire Blasters, are very, very powerful. Really, I don't think you need more than 2 of them. You know, they did okay with their default weapon against everything, but once you got their heavy pattern, it really could only focus fire 1 unit down. And so it definitely felt like, well, I want to use this heavy weapon version because it's so much more powerful, but it almost for most missions it would make more sense for you to just use the regular Hellblaster, because you wouldn't fight enough heavies to make it worthwhile to have a unit that focused solely on that. The Inceptors are obviously very good. They were very tanky. They're definitely superior to the Aggressors later in the game, so I wouldn't spend a lot of points getting Aggressors because the Inceptors are going to be vastly superior to them late game. And then had I known the points, I wouldn't have had so many units of Inceptors, because they're definitely very, very good. They're cheap. They have excellent attacks, but late in the game when the AI starts to have the ability to spawn their command points, if they use those spore mines on you, they could easily wipe out whole squads of infantry, and then they're all blocked together, whereas the vehicles have much higher survivability. And because you don't get the Sanguinary Priest until later, you'll find that with the full infantry army, you'll have trouble healing, whereas the vehicles, you can heal up mostly with just the 1 Tech Priest because they don't have great anti-armor. But it was cool to see how they would synapse. I wish it was proportional to the amount of units in a squad, because there could be 1 unit left and that would count as the synapse bonus. And so that got to be a little bit frustrating where you'd have to waste some attacks. But then, you know, if you were playing as the Tyranids online and multiplayer, you'd probably want that bonus to kind of even things out, because the Space Marines definitely are very, very powerful. Let's see, what else can I say? Assault Marines suck. I wouldn't recommend spending any points on them. The Death Company also didn't seem great. I mean, they have some issues, but really you want to stack up those ribbons to get the accuracy bonus and the crit chance, because that makes them significantly more powerful. So I think getting those on the tanks would have been amazing. Likewise with the Ferosa patterns, because they can attack at least 2 squads and kill all that. They can build up momentum like nobody's business, so you could just tear through the enemies. I assume the Flame Gauntlets would also be very powerful for the Aggressors, but I never used them. Sisters of Battle, I was rather indifferent to them. I suppose if you're sucking on your playthrough through this and you killed all your units, you needed just cheap points, you could get them kitted out and take them along. But really, if you're not just completely abysmal at this game, you should be able to get very strong Space Marines, and there should be no reason that you'd spend all the points to get the Sisters to where they need to be survivable. Land Speeders are very, very powerful. I never used the Tornado variant. I kind of wish I would have at least tried it to see what their cannon was, but the default was very powerful. You know, they have good movement, good damage against most unit types, can get lots of flanks, hit and run at path, so it definitely felt like a land speeder is supposed to in a game. I find that in most of the Warhammer games they kind of suck, whereas in this one it actually felt like a very viable unit. Really, all the units felt viable in this game. The Seraphim, you know, were just cheaper versions of the Inceptors, so you know, Sisters of Battle were kind of a but it was kind of funny that the Sister Verity, she was one of the most powerful units that you could have for heroes, because if you didn't upgrade their kits, you know, she was much more powerful than the Space Marine in terms of her damage, and then having a ranged weapon as well. And I definitely recommend getting her the upgrade so she gets the chance to get an extra AP with unit kills, because that'll trigger much more commonly than you would expect, because it's per model. And so when you're taking out a group of, you know, 4 units, each turn with her, then you can get that additional attack. So that was very powerful. And then it probably is beneficial to upgrade the abilities so that way you can not lose momentum on your unit. So you can either cause the Empower, which is definitely powerful for your Tech Priest and your Sanguinary Priest, so you can get massive heals, and including 2 heals per turn. Whereas if you're just wasting all your momentum, then you can't take it to the full advantage, and you'll also have trouble keeping your more elite units alive without using those empowered heals. I think that's all I can really think of saying about this game. So overall, good game. I really hope the DLC has campaigns as well, and it's not just like here's some units. I'm not sure what this planetary supremacy is. It says only a preview, so hopefully the DLC is not just for the skirmishes, because that would be a little bit disappointing. So, oh, the only other thing I would recommend, if for whatever reason somebody with Slytherin would ever see this, they need to explain, like, they need to add the point cost to these weapons for each difficulty so you can see what it is, and they need to specify what the unit types are for each thing, like what are Firstborn, what are gonna get the benefits of these upgrades. I mean, HQ units is pretty obvious, but there was a lot of abilities, and I'm sure there were some out there that I probably should have selected that I didn't, because I didn't understand which units were all going to be included in that. So I wish there was a little more clarification, like you could hover over Firstborn, it would say the unit types in there. I can understand I'm not wanting to put them all in each one of those boxes, because with all the different unit types, I imagine that would get pretty messy, but there should be some way to be able to see that. That's a lot more obvious, and like I said, it would be real nice to see what the point value is of those weapons, so you could see if it actually made sense for you to go down the pathway to unlock the weapons. Because, you know, if I would have known the Force Hammer or Thunder Hammer or whatever it was called cost 100 points, I wouldn't have spent those points on there, and probably would have used it somewhere else. I also wish it would have been a little bit more clear with the requisition, because I didn't quite understand how those points worked until like probably 70% of the way through the game. So I definitely nerfed myself, but that's alright. It made it more challenging as well. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying this playthrough. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.